What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Superpower Review. Today we have a fantastic show today. Today we're going to be doing a review of Absolute Carnage number 2. And to help me give this comic book a review, I have the encyclopedia, the walking encyclopedia of symbiotes, Joe Reed. What's up, Joe?
What's up, man? I have a lot of nicknames. That's probably one of the best ones yet.
I knew you liked that. I was like, I'm not even going to tell him before I say it. What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
So happy to have you back. Absolute Carnage number 2. What did you think? What were your likes? What did you dislike about it? Anything?
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm so excited to dive into this, man. I definitely liked this issue. All the tie-ins that came in around it, I like everything to do with it. Like, it's pretty good. The fact that we see Norman actually be called Norman by Carnage and the disagreement he has with being called Norman, like that was really cool. This is a really good book, man, all the way around. If anything, if I can complain, it's once again very very little deaths in regards of like major characters or anything like that, and Venom's still like this little Spider-Man side guy, but other than that, book, man.
Yeah, you know, you said that last time in our last review that that was one of your complaints about bigger characters kind of not, being killed off yet, and in that realm. And I'm gonna have to agree with you there. We did get a death in a tie-in. Shriek did die to get resurrected into Demogoblin, I believe. Yes.
That was shocking. That one actually took me. I was shocked by that.
It's nice to see Doppelganger on the tie-ins. Maybe so. It's pretty much what I said last review that this is Maximum Carnage on steroids. But I was not expecting to get the old cast from Maximum Carnage in this book as well.
Yeah, man. And like Carnage even says, if they bring Carrion back, it would be like the old crew again. Donny Cates is literally taking everything that's been going on with symbiotes for all these years with all these different writers and just focusing it all into one thing, and it's brilliant. I'm loving it.
It is really brilliant. I really love what they're doing. Obviously, we've said this a million times that we love what they're doing. So much build up between what's been going on with the Venom issues. And, this has been a huge buildup, and then again, this is bringing up so much more depth into these characters with the symbiotes and so on and so forth. This comic book takes place where it left off, where Venom and Spidey are trying to escape the prison cell, and, they escape somewhat safely, I guess. I can't really believe that Spider-Man was crazy enough to go after Norman. Like, I know you're a superhero and that's your superhero gig, but come on, man. Like, that's not common sense at all.
Dude, they've been doing that with Peter a lot lately. He's just like such a hero all the time, and it's crazy. Like, how would he have gotten Norman out of there? Like, there's no way.
There was no possible way.
The thing I really liked about it is, I'm pretty sure it's issue. I don't want to get it wrong. It's either 300 or one of the ones surrounding it, but Venom webs him in the back and pulls him out the window. Like, we got to go. He pulls him out of the crowd. And in older issues, at one point, Venom, Spider-Man jumped out a window and he webs him and pulls him back in and like knocks him out. And the way they did that, like, it was nostalgia, man. I just kept thinking about the older that was, turned around where he was a villain. This time he's saving him. Last time he like knocked his beak off. Like, that was kind of neat.
And seeing Venom wings again was a real treat too. Yeah, I actually kind of dig the Venom wings. I mean, I know it kind of like defeats the purpose of web slinging, but I think it's a cool change. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're seeing it all the time, which is good. You know what I mean? But we're getting like little pieces of it where it's just enough to be like, oh, cool, he's using his wings today. Awesome.
I think it's pretty wild, man. Nova, issue 7, the finale, old issue way back in the day, it shows Venom straight make wings and flies away. And he's been able to do stuff like this whole time. It just never has.
Right. Another thing, too, one of my favorite parts, and we talked about this off camera, one of my favorite parts was the heat that's going on between Norman and Cletus. they're underground, and Cletus is pretty much, hey, listen, man, like, this is my house, like, don't mess around, like, and then Norman is pretty much, yeah, maybe after this, like, you and I can, like, duke it out, and then Carnage just kind of, like, throws him around, like, yeah, you try that.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome, and that just fills my head with so many ideas. The fact that he was like, at the end of this, we're going to have to square up. One of us has to die to give up our codex. Like, that just makes me like think, like, man, what if somehow or another, Norman as Carnage joins up with Venom and Superman to fight him, and somehow runs off, still thinking he's Cletus, but eventually, you could have the Red Goblin again later on down the line, or just the original Carnage while this huge monster looking Carnage is blocked away or whatever's going to happen. It's really cool to see them two interact with each other. And Cletus just straight up like, I'm allowing you to do this because I think it's funny you want to play dress up. Like,
Yeah, right.
Pretty slaps him around.
You're my puppet. You're a pawn, but you're also my puppet.
Yep. Calls him by his name, Norman, and he's just like, "What did you just call me?" Like, it was really cool. And the fact that, me just being me, that like, they incorporate cuss words in it, but they're all, censored out. Like, me reading it, I can just really enjoy to see them two going back and forth. They're just not holding back from each other.
Right. Another thing too, which kind of like reminds me of like a movie. Some movies have certain color tones. I really think it's really cool that when we see Carnage, everything has this red tone to all the pages and panels, and I think that's kind of cool as well. Really sets the tone that this is clearly a Carnage book.
That and it's just, expect violence and just danger. Like, it has that sinister tone to it. That's like some comic covers that are just like primarily all red. They all have kind of like that feeling to them,
Yeah, right. So obviously Spider-Man, Venom, they escape the jail cell. They kind of regroup and kind of come up with a plan, and Spidey's gonna go recruit some good guys, and Venom is off to get some bad guys. We got that part, and then this is again where a tie-in is pretty important. So if you haven't picked up Venom number 17 or read it, there's a huge tie-in in this piece. The Maker calls Eddie and pretty much tells him that Annie's body was not recovered.
Right, like as in it was never dug up from the grave. So I thought that was interesting. The fact that the Maker is involved with this is just so interesting. I think he's trying, he's got this front going where he's trying to help them or whatever. But he makes a perfect film for this. Like, it's hard to explain. And if I remember correctly, isn't he behind the Marvel Zombies outbreak? I'm pretty sure he is.
It's been a while. It's been a long time since I've read Marvel Zombies, but I can't recall either.
Right. It has been a while, but I don't know. I just can't shake that feeling. And the fact that he is so interested and knowledgeable about the symbiotes, it's like he just has such potential to be the next great villain after this whole story arc.
So it begs the question, is Annie alive, or does Annie not have a codex in her and it's passed on to Dylan?
Well, that's the super interesting part. Annie is still in the grave, rest in peace, all that good jazz, and she does not have the codex because she passed it on to Dylan, which I think he said that Dylan is the codex. And I've been saying it for a while. I'm telling you, he's a symbiote human hybrid. He hasn't fully figured out himself, but pretty soon he's going to unleash, and I think it's pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, and then he's gonna. I definitely, like we said last time too, I think he's gonna be a really big role in this series, and it's going to blow up.
He seriously is, and the collectors out there, any Venom issue 7, pick that up. Any Venom issue 9, pick that up. Like, definitely look out for those books. And speaking of Dylan, we got Norman Osborn in. So this book's probably going to spike back up again.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Like I said, man, I love. I feel like it's the new age Venom and Carnage. I hope that comes to fruition and we see both of them in their forms, either working together or fighting. I think that would be incredible.
Yeah, that would be really cool. So moving on to story-wise, Venom pretty much the Venom symbiote senses all the Carnage, monsters coming through the city. The symbiote senses it and is like, hey Eddie, like it's coming, like you feel them coming, and Eddie pretty much goes to investigate, and then we see where another tie-in is pretty important, where Miles Morales and the Scorpion are fighting the Carnage symbiotes.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this part was pretty funny because as Scorpion was leaving Miles Morales to take care of the problem, to run away, he bumps into Venom. And then Venom's like, no, you go back and fight. And as immediately after he throws him back into the Horde, that's when Venom knew he messed up, because he gets picked up by Carnage, and then he almost gets his spine ripped out, and then he pretty much can't walk. He's pretty much paralyzed, which I was kind of a little bit disappointed, because I would have maybe liked, this is very sadistic of me, I would probably like to see the Scorpion die.
That would have been pretty cool, and for a split second, I did think he was going to die, but just like you said, man, I thought it was absolutely hilarious that Venom just, without even thinking, just threw them in there, and he immediately, which is Norman Osborn, by the way,
yes,
grabs him up and just stabs him right in the back and starts to grab his spine to pull it out. And then Miles puts his what is it, Venom sting? So Norman with it, stops it, which is interesting that they keep bringing back that electricity only seems to affect Carnage. But yeah, I thought that was funny as hell, man. I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's just so typical. Nah, get back in a fight. Just throw him in there. And he's just instantly
right.
Just, paralyzed now, I guess. He can't walk.
I mean, he's completely useless. I guess he's paralyzed because he can't feel his legs. At that point, I would just be like, well, you're a villain. You're not a good guy, and you're paralyzed and you're dead weight. So you know what, Carnage? Go ahead, have him.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. Like I said, that's the type of greatness that Venom just lacks lately, but I feel like the old Venom would have totally done that. Oh, sorry, just But yeah, the time with absolute Carnage, Miles Morales. Now that was quite a shocker, because in that book, the way it ends, the argument over Miles never being a host to a symbiote is put to rest. He is now a host, unwilling.
Yeah. So my theory is, I think it's pretty cool that we saw Miles getting taken over, but I don't think that it's going, obviously it's not going to last, but I don't think it's going to last long in this issue, in this series.
It could be. I just have a slight feeling that, however long the duration of time is, that Carnage might make him do something that he's going to regret years and years after this. You know what I mean?
Right. Or maybe he's just doing that just so Miles can obtain a codex just to maybe kill him later, or try to kill him later.
I thought about that too. It does seem like he pretty much infects everybody. Even his people, his cult members, they all willingly sacrifice themselves to him after he infects them for a little bit. It seems like that's what he's doing. The more codex, the more powerful.
The more codexes, as Ryan Stegman, as Donny Cates pointed out, the better, right? Plural of codex is codexes. All right, so anything else you want to bring up before we give this thing a hard review?
Pretty much more with Maker, man. The fact that he was the Maker and Dylan situation. I believe that was in Venom issue 17. He pretty much is just willing to just, hey, Spider-Man and Venom are coming back. You see what's going on, so just get this machine. We're going to try it. And Dylan steps up to protect Norman. And I thought for sure we were going to see some sort of something go on. It's kind of hard to remember everything's tying in. I'm trying to just talk about one book, but when he set the guns for kill all symbiotes because the Life Foundation symbiotes show up
Yeah.
and they're pretty much after Norm, the godson. So when he set the guns to kill all symbiotes, I was really curious, like, is that target them to it all accidentally? But he just immediately tells them to leave. Um, I feel like he knows so much more than what we all think. Like I said, he's got to be some sort of like big time villain eventually. I just have this feeling.
Yeah, I don't know. I really have this feeling of not trusting the maker fully. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Even when when Eddie's talking to him on the phone and he's like, "Don't worry, pretty much nothing will happen to him. Like he'll be fine." It's just like there's just that little feeling inside of me that he is up to no good, really.
Totally. And like I said, y'all were like, "Don't do this. We're going to go find somebody else. Don't try the kids first." And as soon as they leave, he's like, "All right, kids, get in." Now,
So
I like that they showed his helmet, coming on.
yeah, we finally got to see that, and then the kids kind of like make fun of his head. They're like, "Ah, gross."
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
So what would you say? This is, I think I would even have a hard time answering this question. Out of the tie-ins, okay, which one would you feel is more important to the story of Absolute Carnage #2?
Ooh, definitely issue 17. That relates directly to Dylan, so Dylan's going to play a huge role in the story soon. So I feel like Venom issue 17 is much more of a tie-in. Miles Morales was really good because it shows, the whole Scorpion ordeal, and then it shows him becoming a symbiote. And then Lethal Protectors is probably the weirdest one out of all of them because as you can see, these characters on the cover and all the variants, they're not in here. And
Not yet. Hopefully soon. Maybe hopefully down the road. But what I like to say is that I like a comic book cover that pertains to the story. And if those characters are on the cover but not in the story, that just irks me, man. That just irks me.
makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
But you might be right, man. And just like you said prior, like this totally is like Maximum Carnage with steroids because if they do all get involved, they were all directly tied in with Maximum Carnage. And I've been waiting for. It seems like Carnage is getting a lot done, and its infection is spreading all over the city, and there's no like Avengers or any type of anything yet. But we're having the Avengers tie-in, so then we're gonna have Captain America in the fold. Like it's just like Maximum Carnage on steroids. You said it best, man.
Yeah, pretty much. So one thing I do want to mention that we have not talked about yet, you mentioned that Venom #17 was probably one of the more important tie-ins. And at the end, we get the Sleeper symbiote at the end of that comic book. And I think that Sleeper symbiote will in the future, will play also a very big role in this Absolute Carnage comic book story.
Yes, totally. And I'm hoping that this symbiote actually sticks around. Since all this, it's caused these two books to heat up. So definitely keep an eye out for them if you're out there hunting. I really like the Sleeper symbiote. It's funny because me and a couple of my friends have been talking for a while. No one can remember him ever being named Sleeper in the first Host series. It seems like it was kind of like an internet name, almost like Avocado Boy or whatever people are calling him. But in Venom issue 17, he straight says out loud, like, Sleeper, I'm a family you can trust. It was just now set in stone.
So maybe he was kind of like fan named.
It seems like that. If you can find where he says his name Sleeper in First Host, show it because me and like several other guys cannot find it. It's been on Wikipedia, according to one of my friends. It's been on there. He was never really officially called Sleeper. He said he could make people sleep, and then Sleeper called on.
Right. So
that's his name.
I want to kind of answer my question to you as well. What important tie-in? I did really feel like that they were all pretty important. I really enjoyed the Absolute Carnage Miles Morales #1. It just kind of fast forwards and kind of helps you understand why Miles Morales and Scorpion are in this book, Absolute Carnage. I thought Venom #17 was really good. It was important to see the sleeper symbiote. I have to say that Lethal Protector was the weirder one, but there was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that I felt like we needed to see in that comic book.
Right, and that's essentially what it was. And if you really want to boil it down, like it's also the first appearance of the Goblin. And like I said, man, I was shocked that Carnage literally she was like, "I love you." He was like, "I know," and just ripped her spine out.
You don't care.
Resurrected her as the Demo Goblin or Demo whatever. I thought that was pretty wild. That one was kind of dark. And then Misty Knight? They pretty much had her there just to like feed her as a sacrifice to the Demo Goblin. So not anything to do with Iron Fist, Cloak, Dagger, Morbius. There's nothing to do with them. And like you said, I'm really hoping they do show up. I have a feeling they will, because this is eventually. There's so much going on with this series. Like I said, Immortal Hulk's coming up. I just posted about something else just randomly. Oh, Weapon H or Weapon X, that's coming up. Like, there's so much. This is spreading throughout the Marvel universe so far.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, again, I said that it's definitely helpful to read the tie-ins, to read this book. For the first time ever, tie-ins are actually important for a big story, in my opinion. I probably did the most frowned upon thing and read the tie-ins online because I was not about to spend $15 on just tie-ins, or nor do I have the space for just tie-ins as well. But read them because they are definitely helpful for this book. All right, man. So let's give this thing a grade. You go first. What would you give this book using a CGC grade, and why?
I would give it a 9.6. That was back to the last, right? Yeah, 9.6. Like I said, it's not a bad book. There's nothing about it that's made me go, hold on a second, this doesn't make any sense. Like, everything's tied together and flowing together like beautifully. It's seriously a love letter. Like Cates and Ryan both said, this is a love letter to the symbiote fans, and I get that sense from it. Like, they're putting a lot into it, and they're taking the whole symbiote mythos and just focusing it all into one thing. So it's definitely a great book. The only real problem I can really have, like I said, is it hasn't kicked into full gear yet, at least on the hero side. It seems anyone that's a villain, they're more of a target at this moment.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, since Shriek is dead, once this is done and over with, like, is Cletus going to realize what he did and freak out over that?
Is that part of his character to freak out about that, though? I feel like
Deadpool knocked her out in the first Carnage versus Deadpool, and Carnage got pissed, man. He was super mad about that, and it showed a side of him that he actually does love her. Like, they do love each other.
I can see what you mean by that, because he was pissed about that, but I feel like that Cletus is so crazy that because he did it, it doesn't matter.
Well, he's also being controlled by Null in some sort, by the little dragon.
True.
So, typical Cletus. Once he gets defeated and he's without the symbiote, first off, he's a corpse. So I have so many questions about that. But anyway, he could just possibly die. And then, like I said, Norman might be carried on for a while. But I feel like if at the end of the day, if they somehow have Cletus as a normal human, he's in Ravencroft, whatever, like, he's going to be regretting that, because now she's gone. And then he's going to have to do some crazy stuff to resurrect the demon once they get rid of that, if they ever do. So
Interesting.
It makes me think a lot about it, which I like. I don't like books just put it down to me like, I like to be, like, just really indulged in it. And the book did that, so it's a good book, man. Not many complaints.
It is a really good book. And you know what? when I was thinking about it today, I'm gonna give it the same exact grade as you gave it, a 9.6. I gave the last one a 9.8 because I was really, really hyped about it. And I was like, man, I can't wait to see what's going on. But you know what? The hype still continues in this book. I was a little disappointed that Scorpion didn't die. It was really, I really wanted to see him die. I really wanted to see somebody like die.
Yeah, like for real, like they're done. They're out of the Marvel universe for however long. Like I agree with you. Like I said, I'm not trying to sound morbid, but it's Carnage, man.
Exactly, it's Carnage, and Carnage is ruthless. But I gotta say, don't let that scare you away. This book is a great. Remember, me and my guest just said this book gets a 9.6 CGC grading. Ryan Stegman's best art to date.
He's killing it. I'm not trying to knock him at all. I just wish he made Venom a little bit bigger. Like when him and Russ first merged together, that Venom is what I'd like to see.
You want to see like a big hulking Venom, right?
Yeah, like the holy crap, it's Venom.
So 9.6. Again, it's a really great book to be reading. Like you said, it's a love story to all the symbiote fans out there, and I'm totally enjoying this. Again, guys, I'm not huge into these big books, these big events where they have a million tie-ins, but I'm really enjoying this one. This one definitely has to be read, and you should have it in your collection. So, Joe, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. That's all we have for time. The clock's blinking at me like out of time. So I want to thank you for being on the show again. Thanks to the walking encyclopedia of symbiotes. That's your new title. So
Dude, I'll take it.
You're welcome. And that's going to do it for today's episode of Superpower Review. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this episode. And if you liked anything that Joe and I had to say, make sure you smash that like button and comment in the comment section what you thought about Absolute Carnage. And if you have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. It would be greatly appreciated. And that's it. Thanks, guys. And I'll see you guys next time.